Live from Kakariko Village. Broadcast throughout the Retroverse, transmitted to the real world via a maze of wires connecting a Super Nintendo to a Wii, to a Wi-Fi network, and finally to the internet. The Techno Funk Boy presents the Retro Zoo Super Show. Now here are your hosts, Kai and Steven.
Greetings, everyone. We're so glad to have you along with us today. My name is Kai. I am here, as always, with Steven.
Hello,
Mr. Lanier,
hello.
how are you?
Doing wonderful.
All right, so our producer is Drum. Drum, how's it going, man?
I am functioning properly.
That's awesome, Drum.
So positive.
Absolutely. So this is exciting. You know, there were a lot of people saying that we would not get past episode 3 of the podcast.
Naysayers.
Mostly the other members of our band.
Naysayers still.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Food rations depleted by 1%.
yeah, I really can't. I mean, I'm dating one of them, so that's not going to work.
Food rations restored by 1%. I'm just throwing that out.
So I'm kind of excited about today's topic because we are talking about Actraiser, which was, you know, I always felt it was kind of underrated. It has maintained a really good following though over many years. It was a very early release on the SNES, and it honestly was the first time that I really appreciated the SNES graphics and music. And so I'm pretty happy to talk about it today, but first we're going to hit up a little bit of news. There's some political dispute over in SimCity, and our reporter Tammy Wright is on the scene. Tammy, what are things like on the ground?
Thanks, Kai. There is a lot of unrest in SimCity today. The mayor was given a massive statue of Mario as a reward for reaching megalopolis status for the city. He plans to erect that statue in the wealthy and pollution-free area that already houses nearly all of the gifts that the city has received. But the residents of the more poor areas near the river are up in arms over this, saying the mayor should put the statue in their neighborhood since such landmarks draw business and residents. The mayor is expected to speak. Uh-oh, it looks like he's starting. Let's hear what he has to say.
Thank you all for coming. I've considered the concerns of the people, I assure you. Here's the thing. I've spent a lot of time in city planning. I grew this place up for nothing, putting my own hard work on the line. These are things that I don't expect you to understand, but I'm employing a very advanced city building strategy called Donuts. It's where you put a gift in the center of a block that is completely surrounded by residential zones, and those zones will max out guaranteed. I cannot put gifts in poor areas because they are zoned differently, and frankly, I wouldn't get quite the population boost there as I would in the middle of one of my donuts. And, that's all there is to it. Pure numbers. Thank you for coming.
Well, that doesn't sound like it's going to please the people very much.
Very likely not, Kai. There is a demonstration scheduled to happen tonight, and the organizers tell me their zones have been used for decades to be a buffer for pollution to keep it away from the rich residents, and rail service is really awkwardly designed around the river.
So where's the rally going to be?
They will meet at the large park, which is also located in the wealthy area of town in the middle of a donut.
I bet that's nice. Are you going to be there tonight?
Kai, we talked about this.
To cover the event. To cover the event.
Kai.
I'm not hitting on you. It was an innocent question.
I think it's time to move on, Kai.
Look, my girlfriend is in the studio. I'm most definitely not hitting on you.
This is Tammy Wright, signing off.
Not even a little bit. She's got green hair. Totally not my thing.
All right.
So Steven, we are going to have a guest. Actually, we were already supposed to have a guest in the studio, and he hasn't gotten here yet. So I'm hoping he does show up, because otherwise, I don't know, we got some time to fill. But our good friend Yalric is coming to join us today to talk a little bit of Actraiser, and so we are excited about that.
Super excited.
Steven, you don't look excited.
I'm super excited.
I'm okay. I'm looking at you right now.
Factor 5.
I'm looking at you right now. You're definitely not excited.
Just because my face isn't changing doesn't mean my heart isn't.
Okay, you've had this thing for some time with Yalric.
Do you have to bring this up now on the air?
Well, okay. What else are we supposed to talk about? He's about to be here.
He's about to be here. Yes.
And I want him.
Awkward.
He is a guest. I want him to feel welcome.
We have to call him a guest. Can he be a visitor? A guest somehow seems like we're supposed to give him tea and dumplings. I'm just not sure.
If he wants tea, I guess we could give him tea.
I don't feel like boiling water. Do you? Drum, can you boil some water for us?
Affirmative, I will get right on that.
Okay, now we're already making tea.
Okay, well, whatever. Biscuits. Do we have biscuits?
I don't think we have biscuits.
Okay.
I think we have some goldfish in the pantry.
Yalric and I, we go way back, and yes, there's been some crossed lines somewhere, but I'm a giving person. I'm already, always, actually, ready to restore that which was broken.
So, alright. So what is you have against Yalric?
Why is this a question of what I have against Yalric? Why can't it be, what does Yalric have against me?
Because he's not here.
Well, but, why is it like me overlaying my problems with Yalric? To be honest, I think Yalric is upstanding and determined, vigilant, and reclusive individual who might rub me the wrong way. But that is not something that I think should get in the way of our relationship. The fact of the matter is, Yalric and I are at odds. But we still want to hear from him, and we want to hear his input. And I think the fact that he doesn't like me is part of
he likes you fine. What are you talking about?
Why
it's like
is
every time he comes over, you sulk.
Well, because he's always so negative.
What do you mean he's negative?
He seems grumpy, okay?
He's grumpy?
Grumpy.
How is Yalric grumpy?
Have you seen Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
Yes.
There's a dwarf called Grumpy.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's him.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I think you're imagining things. I think y'all got off on the wrong foot somewhere, and that you are imagining things.
It's the Grumpy Dwarf. Welcome, Yalric the Grumpy Dwarf, if you ever come. He's even late, he's a grumpy late dwarf. I don't know. You know what? Okay. Maybe he and I need to drink a few cups of tea together. And
well, we have tea now.
Well, maybe we need to just drink something stronger than tea together. Have you ever thought of that?
Maybe you should have asked Drum for that earlier.
Drum, can you initiate phase 2 tea?
Affirmative.
We need tea to level up to a better tea level. Something that will break down the barriers, the ice that grows between me and Yalric. Can you do that, Drum?
Affirmative.
Sweet. I knew I could count on Drum.
Where did he get that flask?
Because Drum, I've been writing subroutines in the meantime. If you haven't noticed, this whole thing has been going on. You've been letting me write subroutines for Drum. Drum is starting to get the edge here, man.
Okay, if you're writing subroutines for Drum, can you get rid of the programming where he severely dislikes a certain blue robot whose name we're not going to mention?
You know, if he wants to do that, I'll write the subroutine that gives
He's a robot. We don't care.
I've got a subroutine about personality that allows him to choose his own.
Wait,
we want Drum to grow as an individual.
Can you get him to screen a call?
I think he's doing that just fine.
He's just putting him on line 1.
That's his job.
We're not even using line 2.
You know what? He's got a limited amount of memory that he's got to have subroutines for. I need those subroutines to help me and to help the show. So I'm not going to use excess memory to make him more amicable to his enemies.
He can't screen a call, but he can make tea and spike it. For you, so that you don't. So it's easier for you to put up with y'all.
Look, policy argument here. The overall outcome is that the conversation will be more palatable for our listeners.
All right.
The subroutine actually has a holistic purpose.
Yeah, here he comes.
Oh.
Well, shoot. We didn't set up the third mic. I guess scoot over just a little bit.
All right.
Yalric. Yalric is an old friend of ours, and happy to have him in studio.
Hello.
Yes, I was about to say hello to everybody. Tell us where you're from and what you do.
I'm Yalric from Bloodpool.
That's fascinating. Why do they call it Bloodpool?
Well, because it's a pool of blood.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's true. You think that your ancestors may have picked a better place to settle? I don't know like the whole history of this, but it's if you're in a new land and you see an area and it's a fertile land and there seems to be much potential there, but there's a giant pool of blood, that might make me go somewhere else.
Well, it's not so bad, really. Blood's good for crops.
Is that true?
Keeps the mosquitoes away.
Well, wait, wouldn't it attract the mosquitoes?
No, they don't like that kind of blood. They don't like the blood that's in a pool. They like the,
Yeah. So obviously we have you on here to join in our topic for today, which was the just fantastic game of Actraiser, and there's one thing that everybody's going to notice right away when playing Actraiser, and that it's a little bit different from your normal game.
Yeah. You've got the platforming, the action portion of it, but then you also have kind of the simulation city building portion of it.
Yeah, which is, really just instantly kind of makes it memorable and sets it apart. Let's talk a little bit about details, because basically what you have is you got this. You're trying to help these townspeople with whatever major problem they have, and in this part you're playing a little angel that shoots arrows, but it can also summon lightning, which
a little twerp.
Not a fan.
My grandfather had a really nice house that little twerp destroyed with his lightning bolts.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah, he flies around and he's got these little wings and he shoots people with arrows. Who does he think he is? Cupid?
Right. So the little Cupid
twerp.
Does this thing have a name? We probably should have looked that up before we started. but in any case, whenever he kind of like uncovers a bunch of stuff with his lightning and stuff and rain, I think he has, and arrows, and then you play like the statue.
Yeah, statue. That's the master. Yeah, that's the master.
And he gets the statue kind of, this light falls down on the statue and it comes to life and it whoops up on some enemies, and then you go back to the town and that area is now clear.
Yeah, have you ever seen that happen? I mean, that's awesome stuff.
Right. And so, after a couple of stages using the dude with the sword, then you've kind of cleared out the town, and then you go to the next town, and eventually you are basically purifying this entire island.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. So, I was really kind of fascinating concept, and I tell you what, and this was pretty early in the Super Nintendo stage.
That's true. And this is a really cool game because it as one of the first games to come out on the Super Nintendo, it showcased what you could do with that console system.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was kind of a blending of genres that we really hadn't seen. Especially like on, obviously on the NES was considerably more limited, but basically when you played a platformer on the NES, you were playing a platformer, and when you played a, strategy, game, then you were playing a strategy game, and it probably was pretty limited in what it could do even then. But this one had a lot of variety to it.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Actually, it looks like we have a caller. Drum, who do we got?
The person I put on hold.
Thanks, Drum. All right, person that Drum put on hold. You calling to talk about some Actraiser?
Yeah. Hi, this is Timmy.
Hi, Timmy.
Hey, Timmy. All right, Timmy is a pretty regular caller here. Are you playing Actraiser right now?
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I have some questions for your guest, Jalric.
It's Jalric, Timmy.
It's what?
Jalric.
I saw on the announcement that they must have misspelled it. They said Jalric.
Have you ever studied German, Timmy?
No. Is it not with a J?
Timmy, it's just Jalric.
Okay.
Don't think too hard about it.
Right, I think you're mispronouncing your name.
What's your question, Timmy?
I think somebody needs to get hooked on phonics.
Timmy, what's your question?
Okay, all right, yeah. So the sword guy.
That's the master.
The master. Can you use him like in the town? Because I'm thinking that he might be a lot better at like clearing the demons out than the little naked angel guy.
Well, yeah, anybody would be better than the stupid little angel guy. But no, the master stays in his sky palace.
Well, I just think, he's really effective with the sword. Like, like the monsters come and he's like just swiping them and it's great. And then the angel comes
it's
and
awesome.
you gotta shoot the guys like 50 times and he's kind of slow.
Well, but it's the master, Timmy. We don't question the master's decisions.
Okay, is like the statues, are they already like in the caves before the light comes down? Because I'm figuring like if I were the bad guy, I would just go smash the statue before it comes alive.
Timmy, never mind.
I have one more question.
Okay.
So like if you were to like play like an evil character in this game, then would you like in the maps, would you play like a demon that shoots the angels? Because that would be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, everybody wants to kill that little angel guy because he's stupid.
So how do you play evil in the game?
You don't play evil in the game.
Wait, isn't this like one of those ones that like you choose your alignment?
No, Timmy. The master. You play the master, and the master is good.
Well, what if you wanted to play like the bad master?
Then you play another game, Timmy.
Did they make an alternate version of Actraiser where you play the bad master that you kill angels? Because I gotta say that would be pretty cool.
I think we just lost Yalric. Did Timmy annoy you that much?
I can't think of a comeback. Play another game, Timmy. You don't play Actraiser. If you don't like it, don't play it.
Okay. All right. So does the Konami code work on this game?
No, it doesn't.
They probably should have put one of those in there.
But it's not a Konami game, Timmy.
Oh, that's why it's called that.
Right, Timmy.
Got it. Okay. All right. Timmy, did you have anything else? Yeah, I have a few more questions.
I'm sorry, Timmy. We just lost you.
Bye, Timmy.
That was most educational. I'm kind of thinking that there should have been like an alignment feature in Actraiser. Maybe if they ever remake this one.
No, that's a horrible idea. That is a horrible idea. What is that? What do I see out there? Is that the angel? What the hell?
I didn't even know he could get over here.
Stupid angel. Okay, I gotta go.
Is he leaving?
Told you, dude.
Wait.
Told you. Grumpy Dwarf. Snow White and the Grumpy Dwarf.
To be fair, Timmy's tough to put up with sometimes.
This is true, but you're trying to excuse the Grumpy Dwarf.
I don't see it. I think he's a fine individual, but he has left me holding the bag to kind of explain Actraiser.
Well, maybe that's what you should have done from the beginning, and this tea is very weak.
You need to work on the subroutine.
Go ahead.
All right, so Actraiser was a real effort to blend two separate genres of video games, and was real. I would say fairly successful in both of them. In this kind of the city view, you were working to help the villagers build a city and to keep away all of the evil demons and that sort of thing. And, it was somewhat akin to like a Sim City, not nearly as intricate and that sort of thing, but you also had different problems. You had the problems of the demons, you had the problems of different magic popping up and that sort of thing. Yeah. And then you had the platformer segment. So neither section was as good as the best games in that particular genre. So it wasn't the best platformer around. And it certainly wasn't the best, city builder around. But the combination of the two really kind of varied the gameplay, and it was a lot of fun. It is kind of the combination that really interested me about it, because you had a game where you were basically playing a god. And in that role, you had dual duties. You had the duty to kind of vanquish evil, but you also had the duty to help your people. And that was an approach to gaming that I thought was pretty darn interesting.
Dual duties. Super interesting.
And everything I said just sounds super boring just because you said that.
No. Let's distill this for our listeners. We're talking about a time in an era of gameplay where things are being tried out for the first time. And when you can layer those things, when you can add another dimension of gameplay, that's the first time that's ever really happened in games. I mean, most games have been pretty linear up to this point, and they actually continue to be that way for a long time. But we've talked about Contra, I believe, in the past, and the fact that the changing of the perspective of, actually adds a layer of interest. And for the retro gamer, when you're experiencing these games for the first time, you see this other dimension to the game, and it basically opens up your mind. And little did we know at the time that these segues into alternate perspectives, alternate styles of gameplay end up becoming whole games in and of themselves. And so I don't think that can be discredited. I think that should be emphasized, as you're doing. I'm actually in agreement with you on this one, Kai. And
nice.
I think that's
yes.
it happens from time to time. I can stand back, I can be objective, and I can say, you know what? That's a good point. And a game should also be considered, its appreciation, its value should also be weighed against, what it did for games in the future. And I think games like Actraiser, Contra, games that varied the experience, didn't keep it completely linear, actually probably expanded the imaginations of future developers, who in turn brought us games that we have now, and so on and so forth, the building blocks of the games of the future, the games that might not be retro anymore, but are commonplace and basically make up the backbone of most of the gamers out there. Even people who retro game, I'm sorry, most of them probably play modern games as well, in addition to, if not more than, the retro games. I mean, I'm sure there's some dedicated gamers out there that exclusively play just retro games, but I think the importance of talking about retro gaming is actually emphasized here. It's a building block. Everybody. I mean, come on. If you know what happened in the original games, what the things that were being experimented with, the styles of gameplays, and you're playing a modern game, you can trace back the lineage to a retro game, and somebody at some point, some programmer was sitting somewhere and like, hey, I bet people are getting tired of going left to right. Let's throw something different in. And they had to write a bunch of new code. And because they did that, because they had the gumption, because they had the imagination, we've all benefited, and I think we are where we are now with gaming because of those people who took the risk, and I think all the retro gamers can appreciate that because it was something new and unique at the time, and now as we look back on it, it's a foundation, it's a building block that we've reached.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And just to put it in a little bit of context, I mean, when I say it's an early SNES game. So in the United States, the SNES launched in August of 91. And it launched with titles like, obviously Mario World, which is a fantastically fun game. But while, and I say, and I don't like using but there because it is a fantastically good game.
Yeah.
But Mario 3 really pushed the technological boundaries of the NES, and Mario World did not feel like it was really pushing any boundaries. It was an amazing game with amazing level design, but you weren't looking at it like, wow, I can't believe that the SNES can actually do this. It was pretty clear that the SNES could do a lot more than that.
Right.
SimCity came out, and I absolutely adore that game. It's a lot of fun. It does what it does very well. Pilot Wings was, really just showing off the technology, but it showed it off in a really, really fun way. The other of the launch titles I played was F-Zero. Gradius 3 came out at the same time, but I didn't get into that game. But F-Zero was a really great racer game that had some limitations. It was a lot of fun. But one thing you notice in all 5 of these games is that each game, focused on a thing, and each thing was different. These are 5 very different games, and they each focused on a thing and did that thing well. Actraiser came out 2 months later in America, November of 91. And instead of taking the approach of, well, let's find a little niche and just hammer away at that one thing, let's kind of open this thing up and see what else we can accomplish. And so what you have instead is, this mixed game where you're trying to do 2 things at once, and both things are really fun and really interesting, and supporting, a pretty interesting plot in the meantime. And so, especially for its time period, I definitely think Actraiser was really a great accomplishment. Unfortunately, I think Actraiser 2 abandoned the town scenes and just did the platforming scenes. And they did the platforming stuff well, but I think it loses something when it's not trying to both vanquish the evil and help the good. With that, we are going to take a little bit of a break. When we return, we're going to listen to a little bit of the classic music from Actraiser, and we will be right back.
Nice.
He comes in the night, seemingly out of nowhere, a blur of yellow whose only mission is justice. His name is already legend, but the reality doesn't quite line up with the myth, and we're about to find out exactly how wrong we've been about him. He is the Yellow Canary. The Yellow Canary is a comedic thriller by Paul Lytle about a would-be superhero who may just be crazy enough to make a difference. The Yellow Canary by Paul Lytle, available from Amazon in print and on Kindle. Check for the link in the show notes.
Okay, so there's one thing that people absolutely never ask us, and that's where we get our shirts. And that's because, this is radio and you can't really see what we're wearing. But despite that, we are very fond of Roslyn Press clothing. The team there is dedicated to retro gaming themed shirts that actually look good and have distinct designs. You can find them on Facebook by looking up Roslyn Press. That's ROSLAND. Look for the Dragon Quest map in the shape of the state of Texas.
I'm back.
Okay, and we are back.
Hello.
I'm more back than Steven is.
I'm back. I'm just taking in the break. It's like it was a good break.
Yeah. So we got a little bit of the music from Actraiser played. This is specifically one of the platforming sections, and then one of the boss fights. And I like that first tune particularly because it really reminds me of Castlevania. Yeah,
there's definitely a Castlevania feel to it, but I mean, as we were listening to it, to me, it's like this church organ, and it's like a rebel vampire that's somehow like gotten into an abandoned church that somehow left its church organ, and he's just wailing, and it's like he's speaking his heart through this church organ, but he's a vampire, and so he's rejected, and he's obviously not part of the church. And it makes the kind of rebel nature of the tune, it's got definitely an edge to it, and it sets me on fire. It makes me want to like play the game more. I mean, it's very inspiring, and then as well as the boss theme, which is more energetic and more intense. Oh, yeah. But it's got the same feel of there's like an impending nature. We've got to deal with this situation. Yeah, definitely more boss scene, but very rebellious, and I appreciate that in the game.
And what's really weird about the music in the game is that the game itself has much more of an ancient Greek theme to it, where you are very much in line with your character is very much in line with like an ancient Greek mythological god, but the music in it is very gothic, and it works. It totally works, and it kind of makes me appreciate these old composers, because that's not the direction I would have gone to, and if I had been composing this game, but it totally works and is very memorable. And so kudos on this one, and I think the soundtrack is really quite good.
Well, yeah, and we have to remember too that a lot of Gothic work, they emphasized mythology. And that was something I think that the Gothic movement was emphasizing is these older stories. And so when you have that, this really dramatic kind of over the top compositions about something of an yesteryear kind of idea, something taking place a long time ago, I think it actually enforces the whole nature of what they were probably trying to go for. And I agree. It comes together very nicely. And once again, the music in a game does so much to make the memories of the game memorable. And so Actraiser really accomplishes that with their compositions and with their themes. And so if you've played this game before and you hear that tune, as you listen to it a few minutes ago in our cast, some hairs rose on the back of your neck, I'm betting, as they did on mine. And so, and that's what we're kind of here to do as a cast, as a podcast, is to bring back the nostalgia, but also to kind of wallow in it. Let's wallow in nostalgia.
Let's roll around in this music a little bit.
Yeah.
Get on with it. I guess, I don't know.
Muddy in the music.
I was thinking about like the original the launch titles on SNES for America, and then this one's coming just a couple months later, and in all of them, just how solid really the music was. And it's funny, at this point in my life, a lot of my favorite game soundtracks are from the 8-bit era. but the 16-bit soundtracks that I really love, a lot of them are actually from the first year or so of the SNES. Notable exception being probably my favorite soundtrack of all time is Chrono Trigger, and probably second best was Final Fantasy VI. But I can listen to this Actraiser stuff all day long, and the same goes with the music in SimCity is actually quite beautiful. And Mario World, very memorable. F-Zero is very energetic. And so a lot of these early SNES games, I think they were bringing over the good habits that they had established in the NES era of really bringing some high energy into the music, and just using a better sound system to accomplish that.
Yeah, I mean, just to utilize our imaginations a little bit, to think about that. You gotta wonder. So as these games are being developed, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, or whatever, 20 years ago, you got people sitting in a boardroom, talking about the production of this game, and like, how much were they emphasizing the music? Like, was the director, was the producer of the game saying, like, we gotta make the music count, or did it just happen organically, where the people that were involved were like, this is really cool, we want to make really cool music. I mean, part of me wants to think there was actually somebody in a suit, who had business savvy and was like, we're going to sell a really good game if you have really good music, or really exciting music, or really different music. Or was it like actual, let's just get so-and-so or such and such, to do the music because they did a good job on this other thing, and they just happened to be ready for the task. I don't know, that's speculation. I mean, I'm sure we can do some research, maybe get an interview at some point. That would be actually exciting thing to do, is maybe interview somebody that had to do with the production of the music. I feel like we've been touching on that a lot, so I just...
Absolutely. Well, we
just wanted to throw that out there.
It being a band that covers a lot of this music.
Exactly.
It's on our mind. It obviously is something that we really appreciate. And we can tell, however early the sound entered into the development of a game, it is something that they obviously took very, very seriously. And, and that's something we greatly appreciate, because we are the recipients of this great.
And that's how we make our living.
Yeah. So, it looks like we have a phone call.
Nice.
So,
who is it, Drum?
It is a person who called in.
Okay.
Should we? That's your department to
screen the callers?
To reprogram.
Oh, that's right. All right, I'll write a new subroutine for more accurate caller screening. But for now, let's just go with the caller.
All right. Line 1, you are on the air.
Welcome. Who are we talking to?
Is that me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure which line I was on.
Well, you're on line that we're talking to.
Yeah, it was on line 1.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, okay.
What can we do you for, buddy?
Oh, my name is Wilbur. I was calling to talk to you about a little bit about the way that the makers of this Actraiser were combining, different genres and making it a little bit more complex, more complicated.
Yeah, okay.
I just, it was about this time when the games kind of lost me. I like my games straightforward. I like an objective. And I reach for it and I obtain it with blood, sweat, and tears if I must.
Ooh.
And playing with the NES controller, that the blood part happens sometimes. But I like the simple objective, Mario, go save the princess. No, you're in the wrong castle, Mario. Go to another castle. Mario, it's still another castle. Mario, yet another castle.
Wait,
Mario.
That sounds like
not here.
That sounds like that was too complicated.
another cat. No, it's straightforward. You just save the princess. And then you go to Castle in World 6, and he tells you no, and there's a different castle. But it's still a castle, and it's still a princess, and it's still straightforward. And that's what I like. And so then you get to World 8, and then she tells you, no, it's not a different castle. This is the castle. You have saved me. Thank you, Mario, for saving me.
So
in the castle.
You enjoyed that.
I did. And
what are you having a problem with now that we can help you with?
And it's the same thing with the original Zelda. It's you're just here and you have nothing, and you go in a cave and he goes, here's a sword, go kill Ganon, and you go kill Ganon, and it's easy. Straightforward. I like that.
Wait, aren't there like multiple dungeons and like a lot of items in Zelda?
I'm talking about the objective. Like, what's the objective in Actraiser? Is it to help build the town? Or is it to vanquish the bad guy? I don't know. It's confusing. I get used to one and they throw me the other way. And I'm trying to build a town when I have this giant sword and I don't know what to do.
You're having a crisis of identity.
Absolutely. And it was when we abandoned the NES and moved on to the SNES. And I should have known right away that this was not the system for me because I don't have enough fingers.
Wait, what are you saying?
Wait, what?
What?
There's so many buttons. There's so many buttons, and I don't have enough fingers.
So who was it designed for then?
Wait, but you do have enough fingers. There's 4 buttons on the right, and you have 4 fingers and a thumb.
Well, what about the trigger?
Move it.
That's just a 5th
button.
Yeah,
well, but there's a trigger on the other side.
You have another hand.
Well, I never thought of it that way.
Well, maybe
that's a really good point.
Maybe you should take your controller in hand right now, move through the different motions of all the different triggers, and do that for about 5 hours.
It's just a little awkward because if I put all 4 fingers down on the 4 buttons, then my thumb is on the wrong side for the trigger. So I'd really need to hold the controller upside down.
Well,
you use your thumb for the buttons. You just have to move them between the buttons.
That is the exact opposite of what you just told me to do.
I was just contradicting your statement that you didn't have enough fingers for all the buttons. That I wasn't saying that you should use all your fingers on all the buttons at the same time.
I saw the same thing.
What about the start and select button? Those are extra buttons.
But you're not an alien. You don't have extra fingers.
You don't need those buttons all the time. That's just to pause the game.
But what if I need to pause the game while I'm shooting my gun? It's just too complicated.
Then you die.
That's the problem with all these modern games. You play like Contra, like what y'all were talking about. In Contra, you just sat down and you shot your gun. And you didn't drive a tank or a giant AT-AT walker, or you didn't have to reload. These are complexities, and you didn't have to climb a mountain.
Would you
wait? But you did have to climb a mountain.
Well, it wasn't like hand over hand, is what I'm saying.
I mean, do you need some more training? I mean, would you benefit from maybe having some one-on-one training? Can we set you up with maybe one of our sponsors to go through with some extended complexity retro gaming skill training?
Wait, our sponsors are like a book and a t-shirt company.
But they're nerds.
So you want me to call Paul Lytle, the author of Yellow Canary, and ask him to train this guy?
Look, I know it's really hard to get a hold of him, and I know his schedule is jam-packed,
He seems like a nice guy.
He is. I mean,
He
we
can do various voices.
From what we've heard,
I've heard his voices is very good.
He's very generous, and so maybe we need to rest in his generosity and seek his guidance on this one.
So we're just going to start calling our sponsors and having them tutor people.
You know, how many people have we kicked off?
It seems like a very high percentage.
Yes. So maybe we should take this person. He seems a little more humble than most. Maybe we should set up a extracurricular training session and show our beneficence, our happiness and love. Maybe we should show that to our audience, that we're actually not a bunch of people that just kick people off there. This guy, he needs some skill training.
Okay,
and we could do that, right? Come on, Kai.
We are not in position to train somebody on controller use.
Are we not?
No.
Well, let's kick him off, because that's the easiest way.
He can't even see us.
Well, I mean, you could do video chat with Mr. Lytle. But look, you know what? Now that you're talking about this, like, let's just kick him. I mean,
And don't get me started on the N64 controller.
All right. Yeah.
No. Okay, no.
He's got to go.
We're not doing N64 controller jokes. That's not. No, anybody who tries to do N64 controller jokes, we are definitely dumping you. You get no training. You're gone.
Yeah, we rescind our offer.
That is, we've beaten that horse to
Benevolence is
death.
gone. Yeah. Goodbye.
Yes. But the controller for the N64 really was weird.
Yeah, it was. Well, we don't have to talk about that. That's kind of awkward.
He did seem like a nice guy.
He did. I thought we should have given him another chance. But you know what? I mean, look, if we're going to be jerks, let's be jerks.
No, I don't want to be jerks.
Maybe we should call him back. Or is that too weak?
I'm getting frustrated with our callers, and I don't want to be that guy.
Maybe we should try to expand our marketing towards a broader caller audience. Are we marketing our callers, Drum?
I posted the number on Reddit.
Oh, well, that actually explains a lot.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we should work on some subroutines that post to other forums and areas. Reddit is viable, but it shouldn't be exclusive.
Okay, so, alright, caller, if you're still with us, I'm sorry for hanging up on you. I don't want to be that guy. I want to turn over a new leaf.
Let's send him a free copy of something. Do we do that?
Do you know what retro game prices are right now?
I mean, a free copy of, like, something we've been advertising, like The Yellow Canary. It's a pretty killer novel. Let's send him a copy.
Okay. I think it's going to have to be a physical copy, because something tells me if he never mastered the SNES controller, he doesn't have a Kindle.
Maybe we should send him a virus.
Why are we turning evil again? We're trying to turn over a new leaf.
Guy, let's just be evil. Can we just decide that right now?
We got through the first three. We got through the first 3 episodes. I'm really happy with us. We're on to episode 4. It's like we're established now. We have like people
know
have
us.
Listened to the show. We have people calling in all the time.
All the time. We
haven't,
but I mean, we have
Drum has not broken anything because no one has mentioned the blue robot yet. And I'm really happy about that. I'm going to keep it that way.
Let's keep it that way.
And so things are going well, and I don't want to be a bad guy.
Well, but if that's who we are, should we really fight it?
We're not bad guys. I'm a nice person.
Me too, but
I have a girlfriend.
Maybe together we're bad. Individually we're cool. I don't know. You know what? This is getting really deep.
We are out of time
with
that. So we will attempt to turn over said new leaf on the next episode. Episode 5. And we will do our best to not hang up on people or get frustrated with them on the phone. In the meantime, if you have if you're not, if you are a normal person, capable of a normal conversation that's not going to piss me off, can you call next week?
Think about it. Meditate on it.
Yes, and call me, and let's have a nice conversation.
Dwell upon non-confrontational words.
About something fun.
Yeah.
And not
do some
something
research.
Annoying.
Yeah, do some research before you ask anything, especially
Okay.
Kai. He's very sincere.
Wait, never mind.
Okay.
I'm not going to get upset.
We're all happy here.
We are.
Flowers, dandelions, love, and butterflies.
Butterflies, yes. Okay.
Frolicking. Have a great evening, everybody.
Yes.
We're so glad you came and tuned in, and we pray and hope that you continue to do so despite our abrasive personalities.
Yes.
Because together, we make a unity which is beautiful in love.
Please do find us on Facebook and Twitter. Look up the Techno Funk Boy. If you go to technofunkboy.com, you can find our website, learn a little bit more about all of the band members, not just the two of us. Apparently the other nice people in the band. And also sign up for our newsletter, our email newsletter, which is, unlike most newsletters, actually a lot of fun. And so we hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye.
The Retro Zoo Super Show is brought to you by the Techno Funk Boy. Follow us on Twitter at Techno Funk Boy, on Facebook at the Techno Funk Boy, and sign up for our email list at technofunkboy.com. Also look for us on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon for music. If you are so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast catcher. If you are not so inclined, you are obviously some sort of villain trying to conquer the world. Unowned music and gameplay clips are used for educational and critical purposes. Thank you for listening. Keep gaming. Unless you have responsibilities that need to be done at this time, then you can game later.